Nilu, sorry to say, if you're just going to allow trying to be, I mean, inverted comma, trying to be means it's any, putting on a trial. But what I mean to say here, government is proving every single moment that it is what exactly what he thought and what we, people of Bengal, perceived before the election, even. And we warned the people if BJP would come to power, what would happen. And every inch that shows up that how the people can be humiliated through these certain rights by violating these certain rights, even by enforcing the government, the enforcers, what you call police, what you call officials, what you call the department of the municipalities or the panchayat samitis and so on. So not samitis, the panchayat, the administration. So anywhere you see, then there is no question of trying to be because they are doing it and it's evidently show through their actions. I tell you, this watchtower is a different thing because where the illegal constructions are made, the government should definitely be proactive to take the action, and the officials should be concerned and they to be intimated that how they could do it because all the rules and regulations are laid out to the government officials and even the rights are quite concerned with the concerning authorities as well as the citizens. So we are not going to have any idea that can confuse us. It is very clear. It's a very clear and clear statement. It's a very clear statement to the raw laws enforcement authorities, municipal authorities, or if you can say that the government, the Department of Municipalities, or the People's Services. Now, the question is that watchdog is completely different than the people's area, I mean, where the buildings are being demolished and through bulldozer. I can tell you one thing: the bulldozer has been quite a concept of intimidation to the certain, the community, and I must not say only the community, so to the people who oppose the government actions anywhere, and that is started from Uttar Pradesh, and we had, taken up with so many courses that Uttar Pradesh government had initiated without caring the law, without caring the certain support system, without caring the people's faith, without caring the people's response. The government responsibilities towards the people. It had been quite an intimidating decision. It had been quite a biased decision. And moreover, it had been quite a muscle flexing decision, which the elected government, whether they are, they can take or not, I don't know ever. But in democracy, I believe that the elected government can never do anything that opposes the people's cause. And that has already been proven not only once but several times in Uttar Pradesh, and that had been taken as a course of action by the central ruler. I mean, the government, the ruler of the central government, as well as 22 governments in the country, as we see, 22 governments in the states, as we see. Bulldozer has been quite a concept of intimidation, and I tell you, this is a fear psychosis. Bulldozing. How could a person, or how could an authority, how could even a political party even think by destroying the properties, the private properties, with the actions of bulldozer? Is it the bulldozing government? Is it the bulldozing concept of the constitution? Is it the bulldozing the civic rights everywhere that we get to see? Now, this government has initiated with this. Interesting fact, I tell you, I'd never like to compare with the old government or the governments because they have been quite ousted out by the people's votes because they wanted replacement. The replacement cannot be the same. Replacement cannot be vindictive. The replacement cannot be what the previous government did, just even stepping up more than that. So that is why I just tell you, it's quite alarming. The people of West Bengal had been quite concerned, and I believe that they had supported just because of several other reasons, rather more than political reasons. They had believed in other reasons, maybe the religious lines, maybe the protections by the government, maybe the other causes. But definitely, I can assure him the employment, no questions were there. Him the development, no questions were there about health, about education or any policies for the or the human category about developments or index developments. There had been no question that the people cared about. I don't know how they feared and how they voted and how this government had come and started muscle flexing from the fast. So one thing I can tell you by concluding that this is where this watchtower is watching. Watchtower is completely a different thing because if there is a certain demolition where it causes some difficulties of the people's lives because in the playground that they build something so it can be destroyed like there cannot be sanctum sanctoriums are to be grown everywhere. It should also stop. You cannot make so many masjids everywhere. That is also by putting the people's lives in the maze. But one thing I tell you, any demolition which has been made, suddenly you can say, so who is this? Issued this planning. How could these buildings came up? You could investigate on that. You should investigate those people who had taken illicit money from them. You should investigate to reach to the real of exactly where it is. So it's supposed to be the reality and where the people to be ousted and to be caught in the way that they had allowed these people to build up this kind of houses. But only by demolishing using the bulldozer would definitely remotely saving those people who are really responsible for that. Really responsible for that because you are ignoring the investigation just by demolishing. You are trying to showcase that your action and that action is completely illegal action. And I tell you, it is not expected by the government. So, yeah, I must tell you that is very
Right.
condemnable act of the government. Nil.
Right. Now let me come to Samir. That some
I'm too concerned, Nilut. I'm too concerned about the actions, and I have been experiencing them since last 4 decades in Bengal. The politics of Suvendu Adhikari or Mamata Banerjee, or the way that they had been evolved as the political leaders. It is quite an act, and I tell you that the bulldozer is muscle flexing act, but this is where exactly the political concentration will be made. So he tries because BJP doesn't have, still I tell you, that the people's vote that they have measured, but it's not that the people's, that the basic, the organizational structure they have. It's not that. And I tell you, there had been so many, unexpected wins of the BJP candidates in this election. And that is why, we can assume that people have voted. There's no doubt of it due to, or maybe that certain percentile that's been, you understand that that's been categorized into certain section and thus voted to the party and first win the race formula. That is where BJP won. But the question is that when BJP has won this, they must try to, or they are trying to make their organizational, the structure so intense, and this is where exactly they feel. This is where Mamata Banerjee's government, the people experience how the transformation of the organization really translated into votes as well as this kind of, that was not bulldozing factor, but that was still to be referred as intimidating factor. If you are with me, so it's fine. If you are not with us, so I'll treat you as opposition. This had been the concept of the last government. And that is just been in a manipulative manner. It's been taken up by Suvendu Odhikari. And from the first day, he tried to really send the message. And so that his organization can be seen healthy and be put in. This is one area. The another area is where this intimidation would really transform the local mafias or local, the muscle flexors to turn into their fold because he knows very, very clearly that this kind of, these illegal structures and all, he cannot bulldozerize and can complete eviction would just be the result of it because somewhere the courts would intervene, somewhere the people's actions would be intervened. So he knows it very well. But by this time, just through this kind of, the act of menacing, he can really manipulate the supports of those kind of, the ruffians of working for these because he's not entering into the basic substance of where this kind of problem lies. So where he tries to touch is just to devilize, bulldozerize, and then send the message across that the government can do. But the government can do of what? Government is ignoring the basic justice system. Government is ignoring the civic rights. Government is ignoring the fundamental rights. And moreover, the government is ignoring the court orders in many ways that we had experienced in the last government. And he's following the same footstep here. So it's not very good signal for the people of Bengal, even after the change, because it can run out its, the kind of the spirit in the democracy that is expected or that ought to be. I tell you this.